get your details. That's an invitation that needs photographing, and you've got half an hour more than I have.
Okay.
When you get there.
All right, and just check that your sensor's clean and all that sort of stuff. Yeah.
Fine, that's all it needs. Okay. Done.
Great. Where are we going to put our stuff?
In the snooker room.
Okay. Yes, thank you. How are you?
Good.
How are your plans coming on?
Yes. Oh yes, I've got a date. I've got a date for you.
Have you?
15th of May.
This year.
Yes. I hope you can say yes to that. How are
Oh, I'd
you?
love to say yes. I'm sure it's going to be fine.
Good.
But
Good,
yeah,
good,
we're
good.
there. We're there. Hey, these are nice. What's going to go in the middle?
A candelabra.
Oh wow.
Hello.
Yeah,
Yeah, how are you?
Very well. Very well. Very well.
Good. Have you set a date yet?
15th of May.
Oh, that was your first question, was it?
I know. It's brilliant.
Where?
So to San Moritz in Cornwall.
Okay, I'm not San Moritz. South of France. No.
like your
No, but it's going to be lovely. Fine. Okay, we're there.
Fantastic. See you in a bit.
Sorted. Yes. Okay.
So, Damien, can you photograph that invitation, please?
Yeah.
It's in the back of your bag.
Yeah. Okay. Invitation. It's quite nice, isn't it? That's what we'll do. Miss Jane Paul, Andy Butler. Request the pleasure of.
Hello.
I've had a night this morning.
Hi.
Because I've had all the bridesmaids to get washed and bathed. So I've only just started, me.
That's all right. You've got 2 hours yet. Of course
Yeah.
it is.
Yeah,
All right.
How are you? You look nice.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Right, just going to go plus a stop on this. Okay, that's that one.
It will just be literally finishing
All right,
touches.
that's brilliant.
So, but
Okay.
what I will do first is shoes.
Yes.
Are you wearing a tiara?
No.
Veil?
No.
Okay. Anything in your hair?
Diamonds.
Okay.
I don't know if you want to put.
They're better when you're
on,
actually
yeah.
putting them on.
It's literally my shoes then. It will be my shoes.
Okay.
Because I'm not wearing anything else.
All right.
Yeah.
No, that's fine. And that's obviously your dress in there.
Yes, but
Can I get it out yet or not?
There's no. It's not a dress. It's a skirt and top, so it doesn't look really anything.
Okay.
Unless it's on.
Well, I'll have a look. Can I have a look?
That's the bottom, but that's comes
Wow.
from here down, so it's not a slip. But can you see? So I daren't snag any of these,
Okay.
if that makes sense. And
Of course.
that's the corset thing. So when we're putting it on me, it's like
Really careful.
And I've also got to put it on so it's in the right place and the right
Yeah.
boobs are in the right
Yeah.
place. Do you know what I mean?
Of course.
So yeah, but no. Apart from that, fingers crossed.
You'll be fine.
Yes, I've been watching Carrie Bradshaw, Sex and the City, all the time. So as far as I'm concerned,
Good.
I'm Carrie Bradshaw.
So where are your shoes? And then you can
They're
just
my
get. You
shoes.
can just ignore me then. Wow, they're high.
I'm about nearly just off 6 foot in these puppies.
How can you walk in these all day?
but probably not all day.
Fabulous.
Yeah,
Okay.
So yeah, do those, and then anything else you want. And there's the bouquets there. And
Lovely.
I think that's it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Right. Where am I going to take these then? What I'm doing now is just wandering around trying to find where I'm going to photograph the shoes, because I haven't been in this room before. A bit of marble might be nice. That might be nice. Yes.
That's for you and Damien. Now, if you want to take a picture, these are some of the favours, but it's
yes.
slightly different. So it's slightly different, yours, but
It's actually for us.
it's for you. It's a thank you for being so wonderful. So, but literally, it's a similar thing. So if you want to take a photo of it, it'd be quite nice for me to remember what I made for.
Oh, thank you very much. Oh, how lovely. Jane, they're lovely. Thank you very much. They're beautiful.
Thank you, because you've been so helpful.
Oh, you're very welcome. Okay. That's fine. Sometimes these stand up and sometimes they don't, and I think these aren't going to. Oh, yes, maybe. Yeah. That's fine. Even though this is a long way from the window, the light is just gorgeous here. And I turned the flowers around because they are higher than they are wide. I just wanted the symmetry of them both. Jane, are these baskets of flowers going to be in the chapel?
No, the girls are coming up here at 3:30.
They're carrying these,
and
are
they're
they?
going to carry them.
Okay.
Yeah,
Are they coming up dressed?
They are.
Right.
So I thought I'd get them up
Okay.
about 3:30, and it meant that we can have a little photos.
Yep.
And they'll be holding onto these, and the other two will be holding the little bouquets.
Right.
So the
Okay,
big
fine.
photos made,
All right. Lovely. Thanks. This is why I always use a monopod, because that's really slow shutter speed, 20th of a second. That's fine, happy with that. I'm just going to photograph that on, because it'll look better when it's on rather than just hanging here. So I'm just going to leave that zipped up for now.
Cappuccino. Excellent. Thank you very much. Okay. Ruby.
She's very aloof. She won't be very friendly, but that's what she's like.
Come here, Ruby. It's fantastic weather, isn't it? How did you manage this?
Well, I don't know.
We might get the odd shower, won't we?
Yeah.
If there are the rings are over there, that'd be handy. I need to get a picture of them.
Yes.
Have you got those?
Yes, I have. Yeah. You have got those, haven't you? Yes, I have.
The ushers, bridesmaids, and a dog. Ruby. That's it. So that's fine. I can get a wide angle. I know that no one's in wedding clothes yet, so I can't really do many close-ups, but I can get a really nice wide angle in infrared. Nice way to start the album is to have an exterior wide, and this will just be a little bit different. I'll put that on the other camera as well. Well, I've still got a groom. And I need to get shots of the rings, buttonholes going on, camaraderie with his mates. That's quite nice, might use that later. Quite like the door as well. Hello. Are these the rings in the beards boxes?
Yes.
Okay, I'll just take a quick shot of those. Nice there. Okay, just create some light and a bit of space. Line these up here like this. Okay, plus a stop and a half. Let's dive into here, manual focus. Zoom right in. There he is. Oh, I love that. Crack in. So where are the guys? So they're going to come over. It'd be quite nice to get some sort of camaraderie of you boys just sort of finishing off, or maybe when they've got their shirts and trousers and jackets and stuff on, if they can meet over here in about 15 minutes,
cool.
Or whatever, and then we can just have a few minutes of you guys just have a bit of time together. And
Yeah, brilliant.
Yeah?
No.
Okay.
It's probably the best time to get the dog.
Indeed. That's what I'm thinking.
Right. Photographs with everyone over here in about 15 minutes. About there.
Yeah, so I like dogs.
Yes.
I like dogs.
That's a lovely one, isn't it?
Nah. Yeah.
Wow. It's nice with
It's
the
just
cushion.
got
actually.
the cushion,
Yeah.
just sets it off, a little lamp.
That works really well,
Yeah.
doesn't it?
It's lovely.
We did a race a little while ago
Yeah, what is that?
in the Sahara.
Oh, right, well, it's, all right, okay. Come on in. Come on in. Hi, I'm Damien, photographer. Good to see you. Hi. Yeah.
Yeah, literally carry him out every night. Hardly walk because he was so dehydrated. Blah blah blah.
Must be a bonding experience doing that running and stuff. Okay. Could you do that just over here for me? We've got a nice little spot there. Look at that. It's a beautiful little bit of set. I'll just put that up a bit. That's all right. Yeah, well...
You know you've got mate there, haven't you?
Great shot that, by the way. Oh, he's looking good. Just spotted her. Oh. Super cool.
He's styling up quite nicely over there.
Isn't he? Yeah.
Yeah.
Knows how to stand, you see. Come sit over here, Andy. There's a bit of space there.
Always when you say that, then you're not just being friendly. It's an opportunity for a shoot for you. That's
Yeah. I am being friendly.
If you don't love
I did clear the bed for you to sit down. Okay, just gives me a chance to do a spot check of what I've got. It's fine.
He was quite confident about
And then the next frame is the moment, like that.
watching me do. Yeah.
Ultra cool guy, warmed up a bit. Let's go check the shot. Yeah, that's fine. We don't really photograph me there.
Oh, this is the other one.
Number two.
Yes, come in.
Oh, it's warm in here.
Another sauna in here as well.
Yeah, it is a bit warm in here.
Hey, Steve.
Hey, I caught you in the bar.
Andy, can I just take one shot with you without your jacket on?
Without it on.
Yeah, just without it on over here. I'll just do just over. Just look at these guys. That's it. The day has finally come. Don't look at me. Just look at these guys. That's it. I like that. Yeah. Well done. Let's have you just in this space here, between these guys here. No, yeah, jacket off still. That's nice.
He's supposed to have the wrong colour stuff.
One more. Yeah. Let's get a shot of all you guys together. Are you all together now?
1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, this is it.
Yeah?
Yeah.
This end of the room is the neatest, so you're the hottest. I've opened the windows, so...
I'm not good with putting anything on after a shower, let alone this.
Is that a knock at the door?
Smallest at the front there, Steve. Come on, me and yeah.
I thought that was a... Okay, and nice and... happy still? Yeah, that's it. Next one.
Good. Mum, very quickly, Julie, the photographer, would like to photograph one of the favours. Can you open yours and can she come and just photograph it? Is that all right? Yeah, okay. I'll send her out. Okay, Mum. Yeah, all right, no worries. Okay, bye.
Thank you. Okay. So it's this
It's
plus whatever
that.
your mum's got.
Yes.
It's so soft. I think. Yeah, I think I'm going to put it there, please, just because it's a nice. It's a soft thing. Needs to go on a soft surface, really. Are you going to do just finish makeup first, because we don't want blusher on the dress? That looks right. Yeah. Come over to the window, like, because it's easier to see it. Just a couple of steps forward would be lovely for me. That's it, perfect. You don't have to be in the window bay exactly, but if you don't want to be. But that's the light there is lovely, thank you.
Are you all right with me just facing away?
Yes.
I am, if you are.
Yeah, that's fine. Jane, it looks amazing. It's fabulous. You need a bedpost to hang on to, don't you?
So I've been holding on to Andy a lot.
Yes.
Oh, we did it.
Well done.
Well done, you girl.
Fab. It's absolutely fab. It's awesome.
Yeah.
Okay, does that feel right?
Yeah, perfect. Perfect.
Necklace.
That sparkly number. Stunning. Unbelievable.
Okay, earrings. Wedding present.
Yeah. They are stunning. Do they look right?
Oh yes.
I'd like some of it.
Oh yes, yes.
I'd like some more done.
So, I think, bar a bit of lippy,
And a bit of
and I might
blusher.
put a little bit more blusher on, just
Yeah.
a little bit
Yeah,
more.
that's fine.
I think that's
You're done?
it. Yeah.
Yeah. Can you dip your chin just a little bit? That's it, thank you. Gorgeous.
I think that's perfect.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
just upped it just a little
Yeah,
bit, not
that's
too
great.
much.
Great.
It's lovely. It's just nice and peachy and
That's
just
what I
very
thought,
natural.
Just want it natural.
It's gorgeous.
And then-
Yes.
Read it, or is it for okay? Yeah, it's just no, it's not.
You're ready. Virtually. Just shoes. Gorgeous.
That's much better.
Yeah. I think that's lovely.
Yeah.
Yep. It's a nice shot from down here. I'm going to grab my camera. Yeah, just relax that shoulder just a little bit more. That's it. And look down at me again. Thank you. Yeah. Jane, I'm just going to move a few things, if that's okay, because then I'd love to do a photo of you here. I'm going to dry off your bouquet as well, so that that doesn't drip. Yes, I will. Yes. They smell amazing, Jane.
They're beautiful, aren't they? Oh, I love this dress so much.
What I'd love for you to do, if you're able, is just to, but
Oh gosh. Okay.
if you can't do it,
No.
doesn't matter.
Well, if you can maybe help.
Yeah, of course I can. So put your bottom about there.
I think I need to. The thing is, the dress though, if I do that, do you see what I mean? It's,
I'll bring it up.
okay. So you might want to hoist it up now. Use a little thing. Yeah. So.
Yeah. If you can't do it, it doesn't matter.
I'll have a go. Okay.
Right, so swing your legs up.
That's one. That's the other.
So you need to be sideways on, and I want you to be comfortable, because if you're not comfortable, you won't
No, I'm
feel
fine.
it. And do
No,
you
I'm
feel
fine.
comfortable?
Yeah, I'm fine.
Okay.
As long as you can help me straighten the
I
dress.
will. Yeah. Just rest it on there. Might need that one. How you doing?
I'm okay.
Good. You look okay. I was just moving myself because I don't want a lamp growing out of your head. You look fabulous.
Thank you. I do feel rather fabulous.
Good. You can't feel fabulous on your wedding day, when can you? If you can be just here for me.
Yeah, okay.
Or maybe just slightly this way. I'll adjust you once once I've got my camera. And if you can just hold that, if you just hold it down there, just a moment. Yeah. Okay. So just really and keep it relaxed.
Yes, I'm
today.
Hold it like this
don't
as well, 'cause if I do that,
don't have it up here. It's not.
Right. Yeah, you're absolutely right. But it also I missed the front of the dress.
Yes.
I think, so I'm going to hold it.
So one hand or just two, but quite low.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
It's lovely to see the back of the dress now.
The back of the dress to me is the most beautiful, I think.
Yeah. Okay, I'm just going to come in here. Lovely. Now just to me. It was great when you threw your head back, actually. Just toss your head back again. And now to me. Fabulous.
Let's have you here. Just about here, actually. Just on that. You go back every baby. Can you just take those sunglasses off just for this shot? Yeah. Okay. Oh, I like that. That's nice. Everyone look at Andy. Just chat amongst yourselves for a second. Love that. Yeah, we're done. Well done. Come in, get in a bit closer then. Yeah, relax. Yeah. Just chat amongst yourselves. Okay, that's the guys done. Let's go and have a look at what's going on in the chapel. 25-2. I'll take a few pictures of the flowers actually while I'm here because the sun's out. I know, it's Jo, she does really well. Oh, that's nice. I'm going to come back a little bit wider. Okay. Order of service, that looks nice. Do you want to come in? Flowers, orders of service, invitations, rings. That's it. I'll just do an infrared picture here because that sky there will, those mare's tails, will wispiness. We'll pull that into the picture. Oh, fantastic. Right, let's go and find a groom. 15 minutes to the wedding. Looking good? All right, yeah.
Let's go. Come on then, lads. Big push. Alright, so we can share it with Lacey. I'll share it.
That's a nice little shot, isn't it?
Oh, right on cue, bridesmaids. Come on through here then, girls.
Look at you, girlies. Look gorgeous.
Now, who's having what?
Yolanda and Phoebe are having a little basket.
Okay.
And Lucy is having a little bouquet.
That's for
and
you.
Emma's having a bouquet.
That one's for you.
Mummy said, is my hair looking like that?
Yeah, your hair's beautiful.
And what about my
Did you
bows
make,
too?
Jane, you made these, didn't you?
Yeah.
Let's have you three girls all standing with your backs to me, and I'll just, in a row, and I'll just photograph all
Okay,
those.
and-
Let's have you three girls just,
Do you want me
can I
to
ask you
move?
to
Yeah,
move
I'll
then,
move.
please, Jane?
Yeah.
Sticking to the carpet. Right, who's the tallest? You're the tallest, aren't you? So you're going to come in the middle for me, just here, okay? And then you just here, and you just here. You don't need to smile because I'm just doing the backs of your hair. Okay, that's fabulous. You can all turn around now. Would you like to come in for me as well? Come and stand. Do you mind? Yeah. And then you're all going to face. No, that's okay. No. So you just stand right in front.
Okay.
Like that. Just pop some flash on. Just hold them just quite low, like that, okay? Yeah, that's lovely. Just keep your arms nice and relaxed, okay? Don't feel you've got to scrunch your shoulders up. And again, with your bouquet, keep it quite low as well, okay? To me. Just make sure that nobody's blinking. Perfect. Thank you very much. Give me a couple of minutes and then come on down. All right.
Thank you. Have a good one.
Cheers, mate.
Cheers. Well done. You're here.
Watch yourself.
You got him here. Okay, the next thing, we've got 10 minutes before the bride comes down. Groom's in the church. I want to give him some space now. Got the pictures I needed there. Bridesmaids will be coming down the stairs. That picture was a little bit blurry. Although I'm on 1,000th of a second, 1,000 ISO, it's probably down to a 20th of a second for those. So I'll get the bridesmaids when they come down. I'll probably get to set up a picture here, I expect, something like this. Right, there's a group of 4 people coming there. I want to get them, but I'm going to get them in the sun. Just as they turn the corner here, we should be able to clear the other group behind and we should get a nice picture of them into the sun. I'm hoping. It's quite nice, I like that. Five minutes to.
Gorgeous, isn't it? Oh, that is lovely.
So hopefully, when everyone's signed it, they'll have something very special. Because behind here is the glass, which will go over the top, and then they can have that at home.
That'll be absolutely gorgeous, won't it?
Okay, so I'm just checking to see what I've got. Little groups of people having fun, enjoying themselves. That's the sort of thing we want. It starts to show the relationship between people, because by this point, when they're ready to go into the church, they all start to group. And they want to go in together. There's not going to be many groups today, so these pictures are quite important, I think. That's fine, focus is tracking well. Okay, now I need to set up for into here. So take the ISO up, 800 ISO in here. It's 60th at f4, so I'm going to put it into manual. 60th at f4. Yeah, that's about right. Yeah. But I'm going to put a little bit of flash on there as well. Just a little hint of flash. Do a test frame. There's a lady coming down the stairs now. Should be perfect. No, but you're still very important. So I just done that was the last test frame. the other lady coming down, so I know the exposure's right. I know if I crash in there, there's just a little bit of flash, do you see? Just a hint of flash. That's going to be fine. You'll see the sheen of the dress. Exposure's fine. I'm on manual, so nothing's going to change. Hello! Look great. Yeah, wow. Come over here. Let's do a picture of you here before we go across. I think everyone's there already. Girls, can I get you to come in as well? Do we have a picture with you? Just come over to here. Flash off. Drop it down and stop. Okay. Oh, that's quite nice actually. Let me see you all. That's it. Come forward a bit. That's it. Come together. That's lovely. That's nice. Okay. I like that. Thank you very much. Okay, let's head on over. Okay, that's fine. Perfect. Perfect. Aperture priority, ISO 200, f4, that'll be fine. Picture here. In fact, I'll put a long lens and I can get that shot with Dad as well, just Dad. Yeah, can I just picture just a few too? Yes, come together, that's nice. Love it, I love that. Thank you, okay. Isn't that fantastic? These are the ones they're going to want. Look at that. That is summer. Wonderful, isn't it? Don't really have to stop, you carry on. Enjoy the moment. Enjoy each other and enjoy this moment. Have a good ceremony, you two.
I'll probably be crying for a while.
Yes. You okay, you girls? Let's have a picture of you three. Come on. You just come back with the other two. Come on, just you three there. Hello, Amy. Flowers are lovely. Oh, that's beautiful.
Would the congregation please be upstanding for the entrance to the front?
Just need to keep at the back of Julie's pictures now.
Marriage is a way of life made holy by God and blessed by the presence of our Lord Jesus Christ with those celebrating a wedding.
All I've got to do now is stay in the cool for a little bit. Julie's going to take the pictures in there. No space for us both in there. So, in the ceremony, we've got the first part where the bridesmaids are stood at the front. At some point during the first hymn, I think, when the bridesmaids go to sit down, I shall be taking some shots just on a long lens, just from the back, the bride and groom at the front. Then we are exchanging rings and vows. Julie will probably pick up those shots really. She's sort of behind as well, so it's not an ideal position.
His hello was the end of her endings. Her laugh was their first step down the aisle. His hand would be hers to hold forever.
Normally during a ceremony it's actually quite a good time to relax. Sometimes they last about 45 minutes and you've got 4 or 5 pictures to take in the church, so over that time you can review what you've taken or just sit back and enjoy the day. Don't do an infrared picture. Got to be really careful when you see the bride for the first time, if you've not been with her all morning, just to not go over the top or not say she looks amazing or not try and trigger any tears. Just have that empathy and strength. But yeah, it's quite good. You can little things can trigger emotions, and you don't want to be considered to blame for that emotion. So you have to be very careful. But compliments are necessary as well. That's nice.
Damien, one more hymn, 2 prayers, and that's it, they'll be out.
Coming down the aisle shot next. Going to go 800 ISO, 125th f4. That'll be fine. Splash of flash as well, probably, just to lift the foreground. The background will be half a stop under.
What we generally do here is Damien goes backwards down the aisle and then he runs off to one side and I photograph them as they come out.
Don't go too far. Quite nice to let mill around, I think.
Well done, you two. Congratulations.
Thanks, Julie.
800. All right, let's drop down to 400 now. Oh yes, have a bit of that. That's fine. There's lots. Hello. Hello, are you okay? Well, these look good. Yeah, I like those.
That's the one I made earlier.
Yeah. Actually, this needs a high shot. I'll come back a little bit further, actually. Get the top of the bell tower in. Okay, that'll do. Right. This lady's nice, I like that. Come on, you three, come on. I want you all to stand here. Can you do that? Just here. Okay, and I'm going to get on the ground down over here. And let's get a picture of you three. Come this way a little bit more. We'll use those leaves. Oh, I like that. That'll be nice. Okay, now can you get really close to each other? Does it look at each other? Okay, thank you.
I thought you meant to take them off.
Your dress.
Okay. Should we take the 2 of them off in a moment?
I think so. Where should we go?
Well, I'm just looking at the sky and thinking maybe we should do it now.
Through the archway,
Yeah.
a beech tree,
Cowshed.
cowshed. Okay, let's do it. I think they're ready for it, aren't they?
I think so.
What's the room like?
Not much space left in it.
Isn't there?
No. There's a
do a
nice
few extras.
bed, but I don't think we need to go up there.
Okay. All right.
If we can get everything we need outside.
I'm wondering whether to do anything with striking flash or do that later maybe, across the lawn.
Yeah, when it is getting darker and it would fit better
Well,
in the album.
Okay. Right, so we need to now... are you going to shoot on that
My long lens, yeah.
Okay, I'll put it on a standard hen. ISO, I want 250. I'm going to take it up to 400 for that. shoot it a
elderflower
full.
or something. Oh, could I have some of that, please? Thank you very much.
Andy, Jane, it's now 5 o'clock. 20 minutes of photos with Jane and Andy. Fine.
I've just had a thought. If you two disappear, your guests might go inside.
Yeah.
Shall we just do your two groups now? Because then it doesn't matter and we don't need to pull them out again.
If we've got everybody here,
You've still got a horizontal line.
yeah, if you get low, you won't go much lower than that really, will you? The lower you go, the less it is.
Well, yeah, but you don't want to shoot from down there.
Nice light though, isn't it?
It's lovely light.
Yeah. Let's go with the light. Either here or here.
Fine.
I'm going to shoot this on a long lens.
Do you want me to stand in?
No, oh yes, please. Yeah. I've got sky through the back. I need to get rid of that. Shoot from here. I'm still not convinced because there's the hammock. I'm not going to be able to get rid of that.
Well, should we go and move it?
Yeah.
Which way? That way.
Got to shoot through this way. Just through there. That's nice. That's my background.
We're ready for the group shot now. So it's the families.
Yep.
We'll do that one first.
Yep. Okay, so families, i.e.
Well, you'd put on the list
mum and dad.
and his parents. Yeah, both sets of your parents and siblings and partners.
Siblings, yes.
That's what was on the
So
list.
what about the
That's the second shot.
All right, girlies, we'll come back to get you, okay? So we need to get the.
We need to get families. Yes.
We need family, mate. So my mum and dad.
My dad and Diana, my mum and dad.
If you come over here with me, Jane, because there's only one family photograph, so it won't take long.
Okay.
Okay.
Give it a swoosh. That's it. That light is lovely. That light is lovely. Let's get this. Oh, it's going to look gorgeous. Feel free to come in a bit more if you want to get closer.
Mum, Dad.
Family, are we family?
Yeah, come on in. Oh, do you want to pop your camera stuff here? Yeah, that's fine.
Ruby. Come on, boys.
Andy, do you want the bridesmaids as well?
No, not
No, not yet. No.
If you've got bits and pieces, I'd like. Can you like bags and bits? If it matches like that, it's fine. You're okay there.
Jimmy, Zach,
Pop it out the way.
Jimmy.
There's a lot more than 12. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. All right, I've got 15, Julie. Okay. Now, we don't want to link hands because we want nice and elegant. Let's just bring you in this way. That's all right. No, you're fine. You can do it. That's it. You come into there. Okay. Nice and happy. Thank you. Oh.
My daddy.
Daddy. Oh, can you have one in each arm? Come on, let's do it. Happy get.
Right, Zach, grab hold of me. Grab on my arm.
Oh, under. Can you get that arm under bum so that it go a bit higher? Up you go. That's nice. That's nice. Julie. Happy.
Are you ready?
Cheese. Okay. Lovely. Thank you.
Good boys, well done.
Right. Shall we, Julie? We could do bridesmaids and.
Yeah. Bridesmaids and ushers.
Okay, come on. Should we have boy, girl, boy, girl? Oh, yeah? Cool. These little ones, we'll have that'll be quite interesting, wouldn't it? Come on then, let's have a little look. Okay, we got the girls in this picture as well. And I was wondering whether, according to the list, it was the guys and girls in one picture. Well, let's do that, shall we? So why don't you come forward then? Are you going to her? We should have boy, girl, boy, girl. You can, the youngsters can come between you. Look really nice with your suits as well. Now your job is to make sure these men behave, okay? All right, so have one between, give them some space. Have one in between there. Can I very briefly organise you just so that you come into this space here? Okay, thank you very much. give Jane some space. Okay. All right, that's fine. In there. That's lovely. And we'll have... Okay, you need to come in. You need a space in here. And look, can I ask you to come this way? I'm sorry. So just come this way a little bit.
Ella, you've got to go left.
Can I have one of you come this way? So please. You need to come in here. This is your space here. You go into that space there. Oh look, that looks nice. I like that. You three don't look like you know each other though, so I'm going to get you in a bit. You bring it a sit. You come into there. You come on into there, and you come into. This is your space, just in front. Okay. Yeah. Lovely. Okay, everybody, attention, please. Attention here. Woof. 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 What's that? Woof. Come on, Ruby. Look at it. That's it. Okay, and to the camera here. This camera, please. Lovely. Thank you very much. Well done. You're lovely. You're lovely. I'm going to just do a very quick picture of you, Jane, here. I'm going to use the Copper Beach, you see. We're going to do a bit romantic shot. Is that okay? Just come into here. I think we'll just mind the hole. Come forward a bit. Come forward a bit. Forward. Oh, I like that light. I like that light there. That's nice. That's it. Lovely. That's nice. Just look down to the ground, to the side there. That's beautiful. I'll just do one more here. And just look to camera. Thank you. Striking picture. All right.
Yeah.
Beautiful.
Oh, lovely.
Right.
Thanks, Damien. Thank you.
Come on.
Yeah. Jane, can I have you just over here, please? Just because the light here is absolutely gorgeous.
Yeah.
If you just lean with your back against the wall
Yeah.
and maybe just put a hand just behind your back or something.
Okay.
So just that way a little bit more. That's it. Lovely. Now just lean back and relax.
That's beautiful. Just look at each other, you two. Excellent. That's right. And again, just looking at on there because I can get nice. If I go lower, makes you look really tall and powerful. There you go. That's fine. We're done. Are you happy?
Lovely. Thank you, Andy. Yes, that's great. Yeah. Yeah, hand in pocket looks good.
That's it. Just drop your chin away. That's nice. It's fantastic. I love that. No, that's it. And just, can you see each other? Yeah, look at that. I love it. Don't need to take any more. Can I just a little shot with the it's sort of slightly random, isn't it? But we like random.
Can you just be here for me and just look
Face
that way? That way. Yeah. And have you got both your rings on your finger now?
I have.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So let's just see. Maybe just even rest your head.
Yeah.
That's it. Lovely. That's great. Lovely.
I love all this stainless. Yeah. Okay, I need to. This is you here. Okay, this is like feel amazing. This is yeah, I love that. Just so just looking down again. I just want. Oh, that's nice. If you sit down first, okay, you gotta. Oh, just you're okay. You gotta just take it. I think it's more. Yeah, but side on behind you.
Yes, I know.
You know what I mean? Oh, I love that. I just need to go into there. And can you just look to the camera for me? You can, yeah, feet on the deck. Actually, and then just rest your arms across the back. And then we'll have you can cross your legs if you want. I think we just need to, because of the lights coming through from here, it's golden light. You're in a forest, okay? All right, and I just need to looking down this way. Not quite so far, actually. Look at each other. Lovely, look at that. And just look to camera. Yeah, love that. Yeah. Okay, lovely. Gorgeous, thank you. Okay, I'm happy.
Just here.
Yeah.
Well, no. Can I take the glass off you just for a moment? And I just need Ruby out of the way. Good dog. Come here, Ruby. Andy, can you come here for me, please? Can I have you here, please? Just in front of Janie. And can you throw your arms over his shoulders and just give him a big hug? Mind the buttonhole.
160 F5, well, let's go down to F4. Get the background out of focus. Take that to 400. Spot check the light. Half a stop over. Go to F4. 640. Right, okay. That's fine. I'm poised. Just get in there. Just scrub me in. That's nice.
Hug in a bit more, Jane. That's it, lovely.
Just snuggle in. Just rest your head on it. That's it, yeah.
Gorgeous. Yeah, I'm happy.
So, very happy with that last picture. Sometimes pictures like that, which are quite staple sort of diet really for the type of work we do, they work best when there's no eye contact. They'll be very nice. Those will make a nice little picture in a 10x8 frame.
As you walk away from us, can you just can you just hold hands? And I'll just, once you get onto the grass, I'll just put your dress behind you, just for a few steps, so that we can get the back of your dress.
I'll knit round the other way and just see if your bouquet's still there. I'll bring it round to you.
Thank you.
Okay.
Brilliant.
Right. So I'll just sort your dress out here, and I want you to walk just that way, away from me, please. Okay. Right, I'll just drop it. Yes, please. Just straight over that way. Thank you. Just look at each other as you walk. I'm happy, Jane. If you want to pick your dress up, that's absolutely fine. But go and mill, go and chat, go and drink champagne. Okay. I'll photograph the table details. You're very welcome. That's okay.
You've been amazing.
Aww.
Thank you.
We haven't seen the photos yet. So that took about 20 minutes or so, and the time's there now. They've got 40 minutes of milling and chatting, and we'll just go and do other things whilst they're enjoying themselves. But that went really well. I'm very happy with that. Sometimes it's really nice just to go a long way back from everybody and just capture the bigger picture. When you're in amongst everybody, it's very easy to just miss things, but this sets the whole scene. I'm just going to take a wide shot of them with the chapel in the background, just to tell the bigger story. Just waiting. I'm going to ask the staff to move out in a moment, just so I can get an empty room. What I was doing there was just taking a few test shots to get my exposure right, and now I know I've got it right, I can ask them to leave. Fine, that's all I needed. Lovely. The light is gorgeous. Right, I'm going to light those candles and then blow them out again. I think I think that's all the details.
It's always nice to come out and stand back from a wedding and look at what's happening, because often the children are playing on the grass, or there's a family of ducks walking up there from the lake. There's things that happen, and then by coming away from the scene, you capture those. It's been a good day, isn't it?
Fantastic. I mean, so lucky with the weather.
So laid back, aren't they?
Yeah, it's tremendous.
Right, let's go.
We need to find Andy now, don't we?
Yes, he's already in. So
Oh, we need to whip him out. Does he know that?
Yeah, he's coming out now. Yeah.
He's coming out. Yeah. He does need to be in there, yeah. Strengthen you up a little bit. Just give you a bit more of a squidge. That's it. That's it. All sorted.
Where have you been?
Sorry, I don't know. Hello, who are you?
Yeah.
Well, we just sort your button, actually, the buttonhole. That's fine.
A bit.
No, it's just it's poked in and it's all. Okay, they're ready. Okay, here I need to get in a position. The bride and groom are going to come through there. Everyone's going to stand. They're going to have to come through this way. So I'm here. I'll get them as they come through.
Excuse me, ladies and gentlemen. If I can just have your attention for 2 minutes, here come the bride and groom.
Right, speeches.
Please be standing and welcome the bride and father and he will say a few words.
Ladies and gentlemen, family and friends, what a day, so far. First of all, I'd like to thank you all for...
See this bit here? This has got your name on it, this bit here. Okay. Oh. I feel good just in the warmth from here. And it's not me that's in it. Come on.
Even if this shot's shit, it's worthwhile coming down just to look at your face. How this looks.
Where do you want me,
Oh, I just want you. I need you here, both of you. I need you just gazing into each other's eyes initially.
So do you want
Okay.
me to do
Oh, can you just can you practice your first dance? Just look at each other. Can you spin slightly, a little bit, slightly, just to there? That's it. Oh, I love that. You okay, Julie?
I'm done.
Julie's happy. I'm happy. That's good. Thank you very much. Well, in a little while, it'll be darker then, deeper and blue. Then we put this flash of light across the grass and just onto you.
The bride and groom are going to cut the cake.
You all right?
Yeah, we're just going to do it whilst no one's looking.
No, just sneak in there. No, get people up.
I don't want to cut it. It's too nice.
Let's just throw it.
That's a man's answer. Let's just throw it. I think what you got to do, you got to both be on the same side. Probably this side here is more space. Yeah. 3, 2, 1. Yay! Set up outside now. I'm gonna have a little fun with a bit of flash and see what happens. We've got 10 minutes to get the bride and groom out here. and get everything sorted. So the height of the shot is lower than that. F4, 1/8 of a second on manual. Focus at 10 feet. I need to go from 1/8 of a second, I need to go to 25th at the moment. So it's a little bit underexposed out there. Do I want the two of them? That's the question at the moment. And do I put her in that space? So come forward, 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 forward. There. So about that distance. If I got the flash here, there we go. Yes. Let's have a look. Yeah, we need to go and get them now because we're going to lose.
Do we just want Jane?
Yeah.
Not Andy?
No.
You sure?
Yeah,
We've got
absolutely.
loads of photos of Jane on her own.
Okay, no, let's do Andy.
Just Andy?
Just Andy. Now he'll love it.
Okay.
Yeah, just Andy. Good idea, good thinking. Okay, so there we are. That's what we want to try and get the blue placed into this space here. I'm going to zoom in a little bit so we get rid of all that. So the actual final framing will look like that, I think. We'll get the chapel in there, place across. Obviously we're a little bit hot here, so take the flash down half a stop. But the ambient will be nice, and I want to try and get rid of that grass in there.
I thought we've got lots of Jane on her own, but it'd be really nice to do another one of you.
Now you've got to think big here.
Okay.
You've got to think big.
Okay.
This is your space, all right? Just here. See that leaf? Right, that's your space there. Okay, come on. I'll come up a bit on here. I'll do fine now. Let's give this a go. Let's just see whether... That's it. I'll have a quick look just to see whether or not we're in the right place. You can have your hands in pockets.
Yep.
Quite relaxed. Okay, just feel like you own the place.
Okay.
Okay, and the picture will just work. So let's get that. Okay, yeah, that'll be nice. I like that. Yeah, lovely. Yeah. Okay.
Okay, thanks, Andy.
Brilliant. I'm going to just zoom out a little bit on the flash. Tip the flash up a little bit more because it's not hitting that parapets and those chimneys, is it?
Yeah, that's better.
Wow. Print that. I think.
So you'll be able to get some photos without red eyes and things.
Oh, we don't do red eye.
You're
Jane.
You're clever people.
No, you've got to be careful with your own eyes.
Okay.
Think of the
Just
eyes.
watch branches.
There's one here, you see.
Yeah, okay.
Okay, you just go that side of that.
Yeah.
Mind my eyes as well.
Mind this.
Okay, now Julie,
Yeah.
you're going to... Oh, actually, can you...
It was here.
It was just here.
It was here.
This is fine.
Yeah,
Okay.
I've just pretended to be
No,
you
we-
see, Jane, just to make sure it works.
Yeah, I'm fine.
Okay.
No, but I need you, Julie, to actually hold the light.
Yeah?
Because we're going to do a little bit of this.
It's all right. It is, isn't it?
We've never done this before.
Oh, great. Okay.
All right.
So, okay.
So just... You might have to... Right.
I think it needs a bit of attitude.
Elevate and then onto the floor. That's nice. That's great. That'll be a fantastic bit of that and a bit of this and whoa. Right.
It's fabulous.
That's it. Done.
Honestly.
Should I have a look?
Yeah, go on. Oh my God, that's amazing. That is amazing.
Hello. You're nice and early, couldn't wait.
No, exactly. How are you?
I'm fine,
Nice
thank
to see you.
Hello, darling, you alright?
Yeah, how are you?
I'm very well, nice to see
We
you.
decided we would bring the thing and let
Yeah,
Mario
no,
do
that's
it.
absolutely fine. Let me take it from you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Oh, lots of signatures.
Yes.
That's great. Yes, it's heavy. The glass is in the back.
Yeah, but I couldn't work.
No, don't worry. I'll get Marco to do that now. Come on in.
You have champagne. Can I tempt you?
Oh, you can if you want to. Yeah, that'd be
Coffee
lovely.
as well or later?
Champagne would be
Just
fine.
champagne.
Wow.
It's a yes to this.
Yes, to the shoe.
And that. Sorry, and that.
And the bag.
Yes. Do you want to sign the last page?
Yeah, go on, I'll do that.
on this DVD, I've taken a selection of pictures from the wedding and brought them into Lightroom. What I'm going to do now is show you how we process the pictures in Lightroom, and then I'll take them through into Photoshop and we'll polish them up in Photoshop, ready for the client to see. Let's start with this one of the dog. Okay, this picture, I took this in with the groom when he was getting ready. I like this shot. You can see we're right on the limit of exposure here. This part of the dog is not supposed to be white or bright. I'm going to pull that back a little bit here, just a little bit there, but it's quite a flat picture. It needs a bit more contrast. Okay, so I'll bring the contrast up. You'll notice as you take the contrast up, the colour deepens as well. And so sometimes it's quite nice to pull the vibrance back down so that you still get a natural looking dog, the right tonal colours. This picture needs a crop, doesn't it? Let's take some of that top off the shot, bit off the bottom, and I think that'll look lovely. One last thing to do, I'm going to just darken these areas here, and there's a vignetting tool within Lightroom which will do that job for us beautifully. So I'm going to use what's called lens correction, about 50% of that, and take the midpoint down. You see how the midpoint is changing, providing that spot of light. I think about there is right. We want to make the dog the absolute emphasis of the picture. So there we go, lovely. Okay, let's take a look at the next one. Oh, this picture needs a little bit of work. Quick impromptu shot of the guys there, a group shot. I'll straighten it up so that they don't look like they're falling over. Pull the top in a little bit. That's looking nice, I'm happy with that. What I want to do is get the value, the tonal range right, and rather than look at the picture as a whole, I'm going to go in tight on this chap here. There he is. Now you can see from this histogram that there's no black level. We're going to bring the black level up, and I'm going to keep careful eye on the guy's suit as well so as not to lose too much. So we're going to bring that down to about there. You can see that there's no, in that box there, if I highlight that box, we're not losing any detail here. So I think we're safe to go there, just into about there, that's fine. Take the contrast right up a little bit, and you can see there's just losing a little bit here, and it's just in the edging there. I'm going to let that be. Take the brightness down very slightly, and you can see the skin tones are starting to look good already. If we get it right for the detail, the picture will be right in the whole. So let's go back and have a look at the main frame. I'll just hopefully single click in there. You see where we've gone from. We've gone from here to here. I'm just toggling the back / key just to get from before to after. That's going to look fine. In Photoshop, we're going to darken this area here in the frame so that it has more of a match to this side. We won't get it all the way that way, and we're going to go in individually and put more life into the faces. There's also a little bit of highlight here which is competing with this chap's hair, and we're going to try and calm that down. Photoshop is the right place to do that. Let's move on to the next frame. This one here, very, very delicate picture, got nice harmony of fabrics and tones. Let's just pop in, check it's sharp. This is off the Nikon D200. It's a lovely shot. I like that, but it's got no real life to it, no verve. We're going to bang the contrast right up on this picture as well. In fact, I'm going to take it right up near the high end and pull the brightness down a little bit here. Let's go back and see the picture. There we go. Let's vignette this picture. This is crying out. We don't want our eye to wander off around all these areas here. So we're going to just go into the vignetting tool, which is here somewhere. Bear with me. Okay, this is the one. Lovely. Okay, so we're going to take the midpoint to about there and take the vignette mount up there. That's looking great straight away. So we've got more contrast in there, pick up the highlights a little bit more, and it looks like we've got a spotlight on the picture. Perhaps I've gone a bit too heavy on the vignetting. There we go, something like that. Let's have a look at the next shot. This one here is quite a nice shot. I like this one. It's lots of verticals in the picture. We need to get them upright to start with. So let's just bring that up to about there. We just get the panels in the window upright. That'll do fine there. In Lightroom 2, you can use the Enter key to jump out of the tools that you're in, which is a nice new addition. Let's come in and have a look at the detail. You see there's quite a lot of noise here. We've got to be very careful not to bring that noise up into frame. So we don't want to lift that. What we actually want to do is increase the contrast and shunt it further down. So let's go back up to contrast point here. Take the contrast up. You see how that noise becomes far more acceptable with a higher contrast. I've got some black clipping here which I want to lose, so I'm going to pull this black slider here to here. That's absolutely fine, and I'm going to take the brightness down a little bit into there, but I'm going to take the exposure up. So we've got some more punchiness and more vibrance into the look here. Let's just go zoom back out. Okay, let's take a look at that picture. I think the tonal range is about right. There's a bit of flare coming in up here, and a little bit of flare here, which we can sort out in Photoshop. But I think the tonal range is fine. This is before, quite flat picture, after, much more punchy. Okay, let's take a look at this shot. This is a nice picture. Bride and groom coming down the aisle. I took this picture with a camera over my head. I wasn't looking through the frame at the time, but I like the natural feel that it gives. It gives a really relaxed, sort of vibrant feel, quite sort of Hollywood-like. Got plenty of detail here. It's sharp, which is quite useful. And what I want to do now is just reduce the emphasis on the people behind and around. So we'll do that with a bit of vignetting. I don't use vignetting on all the pictures, but certainly for some of the pictures I've shown here, where we've got the principal subject bang in the middle of the frame, vignetting is a very good tool to use. If you use post-crop vignetting, you can get quite a bit of flare, not flare, but you can get this banding, contouring. It's very susceptible to that, so we tend not to use post-crop vignetting. Okay, they still need some more contrast. So as with most of the pictures that I'm showing you, we're increasing the contrast. This one here, I'm going to use the curves tool to do that. Do you see how much more life and vibrance there is here? Very, very good. Plenty of information in the file. That is definitely a white shirt. You can see all the petals here, and you can see the shadows and the texture and the detail in that black jacket. Okay, let's move on to the next picture. Here's Jane on a sofa. Let's see what happens here. Well, the first thing that strikes me about this picture is it's quite blue, it's quite cold. Now, there's plenty of ways we can go and adjust that using these sliders up here, but this tool here I quite like. This is the eyedropper picker tool. We know that dress is a near neutral, so let's just use it as our white balance. There we go, instant fix. We want to get the uprights upright, so I'm going to pull that around a little bit to there. That's fine. Pop the top in a little bit, make it a bit more panoramic, keep the bottom of the dress in there, lose the bit of the chair on the left. I think that's looking really nice. So let's go with that. Take the contrast right up. Let's make it a much more punchy picture. Take the brightness down a little bit and take the contrast up. That's looking gorgeous. I really like that. Probably just put a little bit of vignetting just to let that area here become a bit more moody. Okay, so let's just go and find that point there, something like that. And I think we're there. Spot check, yes, that's fine, everything's sharp, let's move on. This is a nice picture again. I want to just take the top of this frame out. Where you see the word loading appear, it just means that Lightroom is picking up the information off the raw file and presenting a full resolution preview so that I can work on it. Let's take a look at these girls. They're nice and sharp, plenty of information here. Just needs more contrast. They just look a little flat. So let's do that, and we're going to use the contrast tool. Pop that up to about there. Pull the brightness down a little bit. You'll notice actually how the saturation in the trees and things has got better. If I show you the before, there and after, the saturation goes up as you bring the contrast up. We've still lost a fair bit of detail here. I'm going to use the recovery to recover that. The recovery tool here, bring the exposure down a little bit and bring the brightness down a little bit and keep the contrast nice and high. I think that's going to look lovely. So we'll go with that, that's fine. Moving on to this next picture. This next picture of Julie's is quite a striking picture. I think it just shows the way that both Julie and I think slightly differently perhaps, because we photographed the bridesmaids from the behind, but the subject of course are these flower hair pieces. Let's have a look at what we're going to do. So I've cropped it right in, make it a nice panoramic, slightly filmic sort of look. Take the contrast right up. We've got a little bit of fringing, I can see colour fringing coming in here. And we'll have a look at that in Photoshop and see what we do with that. The brightness is fine. We've got some highlights blown away in the background. Do I mind that? No, not at all. I like white in a frame. I have no problem with white. I think that's going to be fine. We're going to move on. This picture here, we're going to recrop this one, bring that down into here. I like to spend no more than about 60 seconds in Lightroom on a picture and then into Photoshop. And it's got to be quite organic. You've got to work reasonably quickly in order to get the feel of the pictures. The pictures have to become part of a set that have a common element and common feel. Okay, this picture here, I've just taken the contrast up slightly, I've cropped it, rotated it very slightly, but you can see this conifer, this fern in the background, this hedge, is slightly too cyan, it's got too much blue in the mix. So what we're going to do, we're going to go down to here and pick up the hue. Now I'm going to go to, I think it's probably aqua. Let's take a little look. Yes, that's aqua. Do you see how I take the hue down on the aqua and it takes that blue into a green, into a yellowy green? That's fantastic. It doesn't affect anything else in the frame. I'm really happy with that. I'm going to just put that into there and make it a little bit more golden too. The skin tone, you can start to see yellow fringing coming in here. We'll deal with that in Photoshop. That's something for later. Take the exposure up a little bit, take the black level up a little bit. That's looking nice. Great. Okay, let's move on. This picture here needs a little crop from the top. I like this picture. It needs to glow. It needs to have much more of a feel to it. And in Photoshop, I'm going to put a diffuse glow in here. And we're going to see how we get on. But for now, I'm going to just hold back the brightness, take the contrast up. So I'm just using those tonal values. Let's see what information is lost by hovering over here. We're losing some of the shadow detail in here. Pull the blacks down to cover that. So now we're not throwing away any detail here at all. That's absolutely fine. And this end, we just got a little bit of detail on the dress there. We can just use the recovery button slider until that triangle disappears. Let's do that. There. Like that. And we now know we're not throwing away anything. Just a little bit there. Okay, that's fine. Good. Skin is a bit light, and I think we can just take the contrast up very slightly and just drop the brightness down a little bit more. And I want to take the vibrance up. I think it's too blue as well. So let's move the blue away from the blue and towards the yellow. Just slightly there, like that. That's nice. Before, like that. After, like that. Ready to go. Now, let's take a look at the next picture. Now, of course, if you're working a set of pictures, the settings that you get for the first frame, you might well translate onto then the next frame and the one after that, especially if they're taken in the same position. These pictures I've selected here are all individual pictures from throughout the day, so there's not much opportunity for us to synchronize the settings and the changes that we're making. Okay, this picture here needs a little crop here, and I bring that crop into there like that. I want to keep the end of that sofa in there, or the bench, but I'm going to lose that lamp in a little bit later. I like the height, so I'm going to go with that. Obviously, we've got all the details lost in the dress. Look at that there. But is it lost? No, it's not lost at all. We bring the exposure down a little bit, and there's absolutely nothing lost. You go into here now, and all that information is there. It's the value of working with a RAW file rather than a JPEG file. You've got all the 12 bits of data to your to hand, and you can recover information at the high end much more easily than if it had been dropped to an 8-bit file within the camera as a JPEG. So if you're shooting weddings with white dresses and black suits, RAW file every time. Okay, a lot of the opportunity we've got here to make the picture look right is a benefit from using RAW working. I think the picture's still quite cold here, and we could do with warming it up. In fact, we might even add some colour in post-production. I think I can see some blues coming in here from the daylight, and there's a little bit of a golden colour coming off the tungsten lights in the room. So I might put some colour contrast in there in Photoshop. But for now, I'm going to accept that. This picture here, it just looks like a very flat, straight picture. If we can put some contrast and some drama into the wicker work here, we'll be able to make this picture come alive. So let's start with an overall contrast boost like that, and let's start with a bit of vignetting as well, so that we can just make that picture leap out straight away, just with those 2 clicks and slider moves, gone from there to there. Big difference. And just want to have a look, make sure I'm not losing too much detail here before we go on up. So I'm just going to use a bit of recovery just on the right there, just to see there. Pull the exposure down very slightly to see what we've got. All the information's there, you see. We've just got to decide what I'm prepared to let go. And I think it's about there. And in the shadow detail, we've got a little bit of shadow loss. And I'm just going to pull that up to there. That's fine. So let's come back out. Okay. Right. Bit more work to do in Photoshop to make that picture really shine for us. And the next one. Oh, now this is interesting. The picture of the cake. You see how the background is white. I don't think we want that. And look at the exposure here. It looks like the exposure is overexposed, but actually it's not. This main body of information which is our cake here, is sat right in the middle of the histogram, which means it's out of the noise zone. But Julie knows that by working with a raw file, we can pull back that information. Just watch this. Look at what information there is in the background there. Do you see? Fantastic. But we've also know that the exposure on the original image for the cake was such that there's not going to be crawling with noise. So what we're going to do in Photoshop, we're going to lift this area here to make this cake come alive. But in order to do that, I'm going to export from Lightroom in 16-bit. We're going to use the full 16-bit opportunity in Photoshop to bring that cake alive, but I'm going to let this background be white like that. Let's just part the blacks where we need them to be, so just a little bit nearer there. Take the contrast up very slightly, and then we'll be lifting this area. I'll put a little bit of a fill light in there for the moment, but we'll be lifting the contrast of that area in Photoshop. Okay, take a look at this picture. This picture was taken at 1250 ISO. Now, you might think that that's a bit of a problem, but yes, there's going to be some noise. Let's go and have a look at the picture. There is evidence here of noise, but it's fine. You know, noise has never really been a problem for me. I've often used 800 ISO film, and I was really happy with the look I got from a little bit of grain in film. I think it adds to the picture. This, I think, is fine. The exposure's spot on there. I think we've got the opportunity here to go and increase some of the contrast in the sky, lift up the tree here, do a pool of light, make that a little bit more punchy here, and lift this area here. But that's what's going to happen in Photoshop. This picture, straight out of Lightroom, I'm happy with this. I might just lift the shadow detail a little bit, just so that we're not throwing away too much, you see. And then we can park that back down where we want it in Photoshop. This corresponding picture of Jane was one which I took. Again, it was a very, very quick picture to take. Just a little bit of setup and then straight in. One frame, that's all it took. I love it, absolutely love that. We've got plenty of information there. You see how the noise sits in the blacks there, but not in the highlights? Well, we're going to sit that down in Photoshop so that that doesn't become part of the picture. The skin tone's okay, could do with a little bit more contrast. And again, I'll just take the contrast up a little bit here. And we'll just sit the brightness down, and we'll deal with this picture in Photoshop. I'll get rid of that light as well. I don't think we need that. This picture here. Now, this picture and the next one are both taken with infrared. Now, what I have to do with this file, this is as the camera saw it. It was captured as a JPEG. And what I've got a little bit of cyan going on here. There's a little bit of red in here. But I want that sky to be blue. So I'm going to swap some of the channels around. And I'm going to do that with an action in Photoshop. Now, the action that I'm going to use is on my blog at prophotonut.com, and you can go onto the blog, follow the links to the infrared, and you'll be able to scroll down and see the posts, all the previous posts that I've put on there, and you'll be able to find one which says Photoshop Action free download. So if you're going to have a camera converted for infrared use, or you're going to put a black filter over the lens of your existing digital SLR and capture infrared pictures. I say a black filter. What I mean is one that blocks your visible light but allows infrared light to go through, like a Hoya R72. If you put that on front of your camera, it will allow the infrared light to come through into the exposure, so all that you'll be capturing is that infrared element of the exposure. Now, if your camera has got an infrared blocking filter on the CCD, then you'll find that you're letting infrared light through the front of the element through the black filter, but you're actually cutting the vast majority of it off as it enters the CCD. So the camera that I used for this picture has had that CCD filter removed and replaced with the black filter. All the information about the technical conversion of my camera is available on the blog. Let's take a look at these pictures. So this one here in Lightroom, you can crop in Lightroom because it's really quick and easy. You can do it in Photoshop as well. I'm going to just put the building up right. I'm going to leave the contrast where it is at the moment, and I'm going to just do the same with this one here, just a little bit of a crop. This is the picture I shot from the hip. sometimes these things just work. If you try too hard with your framing and your look, sometimes you can just miss the moments. And occasionally I like to shoot with the camera either over my head or just from the waist or from ground level, and just get a feel for the type of pictures that I'm going to get. And I got that technique from some of the press photographers I was working with alongside when I was working at the BBC. And often they'll shoot without looking through the viewfinder, and sometimes what comes back has more power and has more interest and a little bit more random. So that's the treatments I've put in Lightroom. What I now need to do is export them to Photoshop. So I'll go through and export virtually all the pictures as 8-bit files. Obviously the infrared JPEGs are going to stay. I'll just save those out as JPEGs. The one picture of the cake will go out as a 16-bit file. So I'll export that independently as a 16-bit file, and we'll pick them all up in Photoshop in a moment's time. Okay, so we've exported the files from Lightroom. Most of them have gone out in 8-bit. The picture of the cake we exported in 16-bit. Let's have a look at them in Photoshop. Okay, the first picture up is one of the last pictures of the day. And let's take a look at this. We've got a highlight here which I'd like to remove, and I want to just go in and just take a look at the colours and make sure we've got plenty of contrast where we need it to be. There's an area here which I'd quite like to lift because I think it gets too dark too early, and maybe we can calm down this bit of foreground here just to make that a little darker. So let's take a look at this picture in close. Okay, plenty of contrast here. I'm going to just make Jane just that little bit more punchy, so she's got a bit more of a tan. I'm going to take the feather down because I'm working in quite a small area, down to 70 pixels, and we should be able to work in here no problem at all. I'm going to use the curves tool. If I bring that into here, you can see the tool I'm working with, and I'm just going to steepen this line by pulling that line down there a little bit there and bringing that back up. And you'll notice that if the center point of this line hits the center cross point here, you'll find that it's not actually made Jane any darker. All it's done is just increase the contrast slightly, and it makes it much more punchy. Okay, so that's a good point. We'll leave that there. Let's have a little look at the ground here in the foreground. I'm going to just darken that area down a little bit. I'm just going to pull down a little bit in the curves there, something like that, that's fine. And we're going to lift this part of the dress because I like that bit of the dress there. And we're going to bring that up to match other elements. Okay, that dress is looking nice. Let's take a look at the light here. We've got this light area. I want to remove that, and let's take a look at all our options. I'm going to use the clone tool. Clone tool would be quite a nice one to use. You can use the patch tool or the other tools that we've got in the toolbox, but I'm just going to use the clone tool and bring a little bit of those trees around across to there. No one knows it was ever there. That's it, job done. Got a little bit of echo, I just noticed that. Do you see there's a little echo there? So I'm going to taking the size of the tool up and down using the bracket keys on the keyboard. All right, this part of the tree at the top, we want to make that a little bit brighter. So I'm going to take a random selection there. I'm still working quite a low pixel feather, 70 pixel feather. That's quite nice. We've got a little bit more light in there and a little bit more light in that bit of the tree there. It's just a case of going around and deciding where you want the emphasis of the picture to be. I'm happy with that. I think that's looking quite nice. So we started this file here, and we've just changed the emphasis of light to there. Perfect. Okay, let's take a look at what the next picture is. Let's have a look at this one. Okay, what have we got here? This is looking nice. We've got a couple of highlights here, which I'd like to remove. I'd like to strengthen the power of the sky here, take the contrast up there, lift the foliage in this area of the tree, and I'd like to work on this area of the grass, just bring this area up a little bit, make it punchier, and take the overall contrast of the image up. Let's start with the sky. Let's take a feather of about 100 pixels. I'm going to select all the rest of the picture and then invert that selection. That way it'll guarantee I can work on the pictures in the corner of the image there. I'm just going to go in here and adjust the curves. Bear in mind that we might affect some of the pixels here within Andy, so I want to make sure I'm careful on that. Increase the angle here, increase the contrast. Okay, it's made the sky brighter, but we don't necessarily want to do that. We just want to make it more stormy. So we pull the bottom end of the file down, and look at that. That's got some real power into that sky now. Maybe I've gone a bit heavy with it. I think that's good though. So gone from there up to there. Let's take a look at this area here, which is the area in the tree, which I wanted to work on. Again, I'm just using the curves tool. The curves tool is really, really powerful. Let's have a look at that. There we are, a little spotlight on the tree. Okay, let's take a look at the grass. This area here, I want to make the brighter part of the grass brighter and the darker part darker. So I'm going to use the curves tool again, just to make that happen. Just a little bit there. So we've got a punchier look there, and this area here, I just want to lighten this up here just a little bit, because I want to feel that it's not just disappeared into nothingness. So we can switch the light torch on there as well. Let's bring it up into there. Look at that, lovely. Right, so I'm happy with that. Let's have a little look at Andy, make sure he's okay. We can pull him down a little bit, but overall that's quite a nice picture, that. I just want to take the highlights down. I don't want to make too much effect on the sky, and I don't want it to look like we've made too much of a problem there for ourselves. So I just need to make sure the sky doesn't get, this isn't much darker than that, but I want to calm this area down on Andy. Just so there's highlights there around the eyes, before, after. That's all right. Just subtle things like that make all the difference. So the picture now, I think, is lovely. That'll go in the book. We've got a couple of little bits to remove, so let's get rid of those now while we're still here. This will make the album, and I'll just pick that one up there. Just drop the size of your brush there with the, using the bracket tool, and I'll just do this one here, pick this up here, just extend that line a little bit. Pick up a bit of fence there, that's fine. That's all right. You can get sucked into these things. I'll just take the opacity down on the brush so that I'm just going to darken that down a little bit just to damp it down there. You won't notice that. Right, so that light's gone. The lights that are on the grass could be from car headlights or something like that. Doesn't matter, that's absolutely fine. This is, for the wedding album, this will look great. So I'm happy with that. Have a quick look at what it was like before. There, so we've gone from there to there. Perfect. Next up, let's look at the picture of the dog. Here he is. Look at that. So we've already cropped the picture. It's actually pretty good to go straight away. All I want to do here is increase the contrast. There's several ways you can emphasize the principal subject in your frame. Of course, you can use shallow depth of field, and you select a wide open aperture, and in this case I've used F4, and you can see the sofa here is out of focus in the background, and the principal point of focus is the dog's eye. You can use contrast, and contrast is a great one. So what we'll do here is just go into curves and bring the contrast up on the central part of the image, and what that will have the effect of doing is to make your eye, whereas the eye of the viewer when you're looking at the picture goes straight to the point of highest contrast. It's quite an interesting sort of technique. It doesn't necessarily mean to be darker or lighter, just higher contrast. The other way, of course, is to use a vignetting effect and just darken down the background. And the way I would do that here is to select the inverse, so protect your main area, select the inverse, so we've now got the outer area selected. And again, the curves tool is perfect for this type of work. Just pull that down a little bit in tone, and the mid-tones are darker, and now we've got much more punch and emphasis exactly where we need it. Let's take a look at that picture. We brought it in here, and now out it goes like that. Let's have a look at what's next. Okay, this is quite a nice picture. One of Julie's pictures. It's got that sort of greyness about it, and what I want to do here is just come in and have a look and see whether we can pick up a bit more colour or a bit more vibrance. There's some nice blue going through here, and we can probably do some yellows or blues into there if we want to enhance the colours. I think it's worth bearing in mind that as we bring the contrast up in the key principal areas, we're also going to increase the colour saturation. Let's give it a go. Take the feather right up to 160 or so. We don't want to see the the vignette effect of this, but we want to take the contrast up in the center area. So making the line in the center of the curves dialog box steeper is giving us more contrast, and it'll make it look like we've got a spotlight, do you see, on our central zone. So we've gone from there, which is quite flat, to there, which is much more punchy. Doesn't really need a lot more than that. I'm going to leave this space around the subject clear, and Marco may well use that within the album, or he might crop it when he designs the album. There's no reason to remove it at this stage. Plenty of sharpness, plenty of detail, that's fine. So one little move of one selection, one bit of curves, that's all it needs. Let's have a look at this. This is the cake. Now, we know what the problem with this picture was initially, was the contrast. It was very, very high. Now look, we've managed to recover all that gorgeous detail in the background, which is perfect, but it's left us with quite a flat looking cake. This is supposed to be white icing and nice bright punchy colours in the flowers here. Not a problem. Because the exposure was high enough at the time of capture, what we've got is we've got clean, noise-free elements within this image. You'll also notice here that it's a 16-bit file we're working with, so we can pull it about a bit without it breaking up. Let's go and have a little look at what we've got. I suggest with this that we're going to treat the cake and quite loosely. So let's take the feather up to about 200 pixels and just loosely select around the cake area here. Okay, and what we're going to do is just a gentle lift in the midtones at this point, just like that. Small amount at this point here. We've not destroyed the background. The background's still okay, but we've also not got too much of a hard line around the cake. So now what I want to do is take the feather radius right down to about 80 will be fine, and just be a little bit more careful. Okay, we're still going to affect some of the outside area, but I'm aiming not to really do much harm to that and just work within the central zone. So again, curves adjustment. This time I'm going to look at just pulling this area up here. Do you see? That cake is starting to come alive. That's looking really, really nice. And I'll just darken the bottom part of it there so it doesn't go too bright. And I want to get that contrast. See, the flowers are looking great already. From there to there. So that's stage 2, and what we can do now is we can select again quite loosely all the area we want to protect, invert that selection and give it one more go so that the white tablecloth that it's on doesn't end up too grey, and just a little pick it up there. I think that cake is looking lovely. All right, we've still got the detail in the background and we've got a nice punchy cake. Let's go and have a look at it. Looks fantastic. That's starting to look just like we want it to be. I think that's great. That'll go straight into the album and it'll look fantastic. Before I save this, I'm going to drop it down to 8 bits because an 8-bit file is a smaller file and that will be fine for us. We don't need to be saving 16 bits. Now that we've pulled it about, it'll be okay and you won't be able to see the joins. Oh, I like this picture. This is a good picture. I want to tidy this picture. There's a little lamp in the top left here, which we can get rid of. But I don't want to crop the picture to crop it out because I want to keep the gap. Let's go in and have a look. I'd like to keep this gap here to beyond the bench there. And again, we've got the similar one that side. I do like symmetry. Let's have a look else around the frame. I think that's okay. Just got this to get rid of. I could use the patch tool, or that's the patch tool there, or the healing brush. But the problem with that is that we're going to start to drag in colour from the edge of frame. So we're going to use the clone tool instead, and I'm going to pick up from here, and I'm just going to extend that twig just into the background there. There we go. Okay. I'll change my pickup point because I just want this black now. There's no reason to have anything other than the black. That's it, that one's gone. So that's the cloning done. Let's have a look at Jane here. Jane needs a bit more contrast. So we're going to punch the contrast up here on Jane, but I've got to be very careful not to increase the saturation too much. I've got a feather of 80 pixels, so we're going to be working quite quite a nice feather on there. It's going to be perfect for this. It's not going to make too much effect to the outside areas. So here I'm just going to take the contrast up a little bit like that. Look at that. But you can see her colour has pulled up as well. So we've got a boost of saturation because in the midtones here we've made this curve steeper. It has an effect of increasing the saturation. So we're going to go into hue saturation and just pull the saturation down in the reds and the yellows. Okay, reds and yellows, that's fine there. I think perhaps a little bit too much on the red. You've got those adjustment there, that's fine. So now that's sorted there, her. And let's go put some colour up into the top here. Let's go for in the forest, let's go for a high pixel, maybe 200 pixels, something like that, and go into the top of the forest. So we select the area we want to keep, select inverse. So we know that the bottom corners here and the top of that forest are now going to take on some colour when we add the colour. We can change the colour using curves because we can go into the blue channel here and just bolster the blue. Do you see how we put some blue into there? Or we can cancel out of there. We can put colour in using the hue saturation command and just click colorize and just change the hue till we get the blue. Somehow I like that. I think that's a better feel and a better look. So I'm going to go for something around there, take the saturation down so it's only subtle. There we go. So we've got a little bit of a blue forest on the top. I think that's quite a nice look. Perhaps this area here is just a little yellow. So I'm going to suggest that we take a look at the hue saturation here, just in this area, and look at the yellows. We've got a choice. If you desaturate yellow, it will just calm that area down. We can also change the hue slightly. We can make it more red by going to the left, or more yellow and more green by going to the right, do you see? So we can, if we don't think the colours are right, we can adjust just the yellows using the hue saturation dialog box. So I've gone for a -5 and a -4 there. That's all it needs. That's a good picture. I like it. Let's close it. Let's move on. Okay, take a look at this one. In Lightroom, we processed this picture out. We've increased the contrast already, but we need to do some work just in here, just with Jane and the person that's helping her. So let's go and have a little look at this. There's a bit of grain in here. I'm not too concerned about the grain. That's okay. I just want people to look healthy and vibrant. So I still know we need to put some colour into this. Not colour so much as contrast, which of course will boost the colour as well. But I think we go down to a 50 pixel radius, something like that. Let's have a little look around here. Just in this area here. And let's just take on the curves and pull that up. Just boost that up a little bit, take that down. There we go. You see how her skin radiates now? We're really sort of making a big difference there. Going from there up to there, that's lovely. Okay, and then just have a little look at the bottom of the frame. The frame's okay, there's nothing to remove really here. I think I'm just going to go in here and just do one more adjustment on curves for Jane. There we go. That's nice. There to there. Lovely. So let's take a little look. That's okay. Let's have a look at what we came in as there. And it's going out like that there. Now you can see instantly the areas I've worked on, but that's looking great. Now, as I switch between those two, I'm aware that the dress is looking a little dull here on this one here. So I'm going to just pick up that dress there and just give that a little bit more lift. Sometimes it's worth just taking a little glance at the picture. Okay, there's only one other thing with this picture we need to look at, and that's the flare at the top of the frame. So let's just quickly choose a high feather radius there and just sit the shadow detail in the top of the frame there. Okay, so I'm going to select the inverse now, and that area up there, I'm just going to park a little bit of curves. I'm just going to just sit it a little bit there, and that will have the effect of just getting rid of some of that flare, making it look acceptable. That's nice. Happy with that. Ready to go. Let's have a look at this picture. Okay. Here, I want to darken down the right-hand side of the frame, make it a little bit more contrasty and punchy, and I'll do that first of all. So again, a high feather radius. I'm going to protect the areas that I want to keep unaffected, and then invert that selection. So now I'm just working on that area there. I'm going to use the curves tool again. It's my favourite tool of the day. I'm just going to pull down the shadow area in there. List the highlight area. Do you see where we've got a bit more punch now in this side? Perhaps it's gone a bit too far. So let's now use the fade command. Remember to fade that back. So we've got the before here at the 0. And we've got the maximum after there, and I think it's about there. So 80% on the fade command, that'll be nice. Now we've got a bit more balance between the two sets, two halves of the picture. There's a little bit more work to do on the background. So I'm going to, again, invert the selection. I'm happy with the guys now. And I'm just going to darken that background a little bit there. So let's just pull that down there like that. That'll be fine. So now we've got more of a balance across the left and right of the picture. I think we just need to increase the contrast in the faces. So let's take a little look here. Yes, I think so. So I'm going to just select using a slightly smaller feather, maybe 100 pixels, something like that, and just go in and have a look at our guys here. I want to make sure I'm not losing any detail in the jackets. They're black jackets, but I want to make sure also that I'm getting a nice feel on the skin tone as well. So let's have a look at that. Bit of curves here. We'll concentrate on one element of the picture and just get a feel for what's going on. That's obviously a bit too much, but they're looking a lot healthier there than they did there. They look a bit pale here, a bit more punch. Fantastic. The saturation's picked up. Do you see how the reds and the yellows are going a bit hot there? Well, whilst we've still got that selection, let's pull the saturation back down, because we've taken the contrast up. It does have a tendency to pull the saturation up as well. So a little bit of a drop on the saturation, and I think that's going to look great. Let's take a look at those. That's fine. So we've just got this little bit of a highlight jumping out the top of that chap's hair. So let's just remove that. So we're going to pick up an area, probably this area here, and redistribute it there. So let's use this tool here. Take the opacity down to about 40% and just calm that down there. That's all right. You can have another go as often as you want, and it'll just help into there. We've got a little bit of highlight into there. That's fine. Okay, that will do for him. Let's have a quick look along the line. Those are okay. Yeah, fine. There's Andy there, looking suave, dapper. The dog looking great. That's it. That's a nice, simple group. Okay, take a look at this picture. We've got the hedge in the background is still looking a little blue in places, but we have added a bit more yellow to it. This has gone a bit dark and a bit dull here, so we may as well bring the colour of the hedge across into there, and we need to sort this yellow here out. Okay, well, let's use the clone tool. I don't have any problem with using the clone tool here. I'm just going to use the colour element of the clone tool facility. See, just up on this drop-down menu, the colour is all I need to change. The texture's fine. So let's pick up from here and just drop into here, and perfect. So we've got the colour running through there. I don't mind the fact it gets darker. It's nice at the edge of the frame. It gets darker down here too. So we've got a bit of a balance there. Holds that right-hand side in beautifully. Now, let's see what we can do. Let's first of all treat the leaves in the background. Let's take a feather of about 140. You'll soon get used to what size feather to choose. What we're actually doing is we're making sure that we're going to protect Jane here. And if I show you using this quick mask, you can see what's going on. We're protecting Jane, and we're now just going to be working on the background. Okay, so we're going to go in here and we're going to make the background a little bit more contrasty, because that will punch up the colours. Look at that, it's like the sun's come out. Yeah. We're also going to change the colour here because there's a bit too much bluey cyan. So we can go into the blue channel and just pop that down a little bit. Okay, and we can go into, that's probably about there, and we can go into the red channel and just pop a little bit more red into it. Just take the cyan out. There we go. So we've gone from there to there on the background. Job done. Now, let's have a look at Jane. Let's see what we can do for her. First of all, we need to reduce the yellow in here. And the way to do that would be perhaps using a bit of a hue shift. So we're going to take the feather radius right down. 40 seems fine. Let's come into here. I'm going to hold down the shift key to add to my selection. Do you see I've got a little plus next to my selection tool there? I'm going to pick up a little bit there, and there's a little bit more here I want to work on. Sometimes these things you might have to do 3 or 4 goes at to get it right. Let's use hue saturation, and let's see what we can do here. Now, I'm wondering what the sector is here. I think it's probably yellows, and I think if we now were to move that to the left here, those will go. Do you see how that's done? We've actually just taken the yellow in here and just brought the hue across to the left just by 9 points. If I show you what it was before, vibrant yellow, and there, that's fine. That's completely believable. You've got to understand that we're underneath a tree and we've got these yellows and greens, and you expect to see a little bit in there, but it's much nicer to have just a small amount rather than a lot like that. Okay, so sometimes it's best just to be slightly subtle with your work. Okay, here I'm just going to increase the contrast very slightly, just to give her a little bit more punch in the expression. Look at that, that's lovely, that's fine. And that's okay, I'm happy with that. Now, you could dive in and soften a few lines and reshape noses and sort out frizz. I don't need that. I don't need that. She looks beautiful enough as she is, so we're going to leave that as it is, and we're going to move on. Okay, this one here. This was a very straightforward picture. It was slightly hot here. Remember it being slightly over there. If we bring the contrast up in the surroundings, it will make the picture take it from being very ordinary to being something quite special. And so what we're going to do now is going to make a selection. 40 pixel selection is quite tight, but let's just work a small amount at a time. Inverse image adjust curves. We're just going to be working on this area outside of our principal subject. There we go, look at that. See, Andy's looking fine there. I think what I want to do here is invert that selection and just sit what I mean by sit, I mean make the darker areas, that suit which is looking quite light and light grey, make it look a little darker. That will also blend this junction between my previous adjustment and my and Andy just there. Look at that, just like that. Looks fantastic. So that little adjustment in there and the adjustment in the wicker look great. I'm going to pick up this area here, and I'm now going to go through and make about 3 or 4 simple curves tweaks to make the background sort of pop a little more than it has been, like this one here. It's a fantastic place, Babington House, full of these lovely design features, and it makes sense to go in here and start to use some of the colours that you get, the natural colours in the wicker, and bring them alive just using the curves tool. Do you see how we're just really making this much more vibrant? If I show you where we were a moment ago, it's very, very flat and lifted, and now look at where we are. Much better picture. Still got a little bit of sitting to do here, but let's go and have a look at Andy. I think we can increase the contrast very slightly. I'm just going to be careful of the top of his head there, and I'm just going to have a look at this, and we're going to bring the bottom level down a little bit here, just to there, and a little bit of lift in the midtones. Do you see how his face, the colour's gone much more vibrant? We're going to pull that back a little bit because I think that's just a bit too much. So hue saturation. Drop the saturation down, perfect. Just got a few more to go here. This picture here, I think it would benefit from a bit of diffusion and a bit of a sort of dramatic overlay look. Now, it depends on the type of post-production work you like to do. If you like your pictures to have punch and colour, vibrance, have a look at this. I think what we'll do, we'll start by duplicating the layer, and then we're going to create a blur. So we're going to go blur, Gaussian blur, and 60 pixels, that'll be fine. So we've got a blurred layer on the top. Now we're going to blend that layer with the one that's underneath it using a soft light blending mode. Okay, now you can see we've got a much more vibrant, rich sort of feel. Look at the way that the colour has lifted here. Now let's have a look at how much detail we've got. It's plenty of detail, all the fine detail is here in the picture. It's just looking a little dramatic, but we've got a slider here, this opacity. We can drop it down, you can have as much or as little as you want, but It's quite a nice way of working when you've got these sort of slightly dreamy pictures. I like to work and take pictures where there's no eye contact. I think that works really, really nicely. And that's simple. So we've gone with that little adjustment layer, we've gone from here to there. That'll do. Let's leave it at that. I'm going to close that and save it again. I'm saving these are TIFFs, and I'm saving it with no compression, and it will hold these layers, so if at a later stage we want to remove that diffusion, we can do so. Let's take a look at this. Very similar type of picture to the one of the guys I did earlier in the day, but what I like about this is that interaction. Okay, completely set up picture, but the expressions and the fun and the verve that these girls have got is completely natural. So what we try to do is create the opportunities for our subjects, our clients, to excel in, to look great in. So that's what we want to try and achieve with a minimum of fuss on the wedding day. So let's just put a bit more life into their faces. There we look at that. Perfect. They are now the centres of attention. They're fantastic. What I would feel about this picture, when we've taken the contrast up, I can see that the reds have come high, and we're not going to do too much with that, with terms of taking the red saturation down. We're just going to take the master hue a bit to the right. Just a couple of notches. There we go. And it's just gone from being a bit too red in the face here, can you see, to being just right. Subtlety is everything. There you are. That's the shot done. Job done. You see, Lightroom's quite good at getting pictures pretty close to the way you want to see them, but Photoshop allows you to go into the details and bring the contrast up, take the saturation down, change the hue or the colour of a particular area of the picture. That is invaluable. Okay, let's take a look at this. This picture here, it's absolutely good to go, but I will just increase the contrast here of Jane and Andy, and we will just reduce the contrast perhaps of the people around, just to make them a little bit more of the stars of the show. I love the high viewpoint on this picture. Okay, image adjust curves. Pop a bit into there. That's it. So got nice and bright, like a little spotlight on them. I have got the flash on them, of course, and you can see that the life and the vitality in the face is great. You don't see any shadows from the flash. The flash is there, it's just a splash of it. You can see you can see the feel of what I'm doing, and it's the punchiness and the life. You can see a bit of a shadow here from the sleeve on the dress there, so you know the flash is there, but because it's not on the camera, it doesn't look like a snap. It looks much more professionally taken than that, which is great. So it's a little cheat, really, the way I like to work. That's fine, that's all it needs. So we've gone from here just to here, that's it. Here we go. Take a look at this, one of Julie's pictures. This will work really well. I like the way that we've straightened all the verticals. We've got nice balance in the picture. This area here is a little dark, which will lighten that area. We'll lighten the dress a little bit here, and we'll give this area here a bit more punch, because it's the area of high contrast there, which will be quite nice. And then we'll look at giving Jane a little bit more radiance here. So let's start with this area up here. Let's just lift that area there. Image adjust curves. Let's take a look at that. Yes, that's fine. Let's lift this area down in here. I don't need to see the detail. I just want to have a look at the overall effect of what I'm doing. I don't need to zoom into the picture in order to see that. There we go, a bit more punch into there, that's fine. And I wanted to lift the dress a little bit here, because I think that the dress is quite important that we get that right. I will go into the detail here in order to see that, make sure I'm not losing any of the highlights. So I'm going to go curves, and just, you see that we've got nothing here near white. So we can just do that, bring that up to there. We're not losing anything, great. So that dress has just gone from there to there, perfect. Exactly what I wanted to do. Let's take a look here at Jane, and we've got ourselves a nice little shot here. I'm on quite a tight pixel radius, only 40 pixels, so I know it's going to affect, we can see the join, so I've got to be subtle with my adjustments. So let's have a look at this. Again, curves, bring up the contrast a little bit here, perfect. We don't want to make it any lighter. We just want to make it a little bit more contrasty. You won't see the join in contrast, but you will if you made it lighter. Perfect. Okay, that's fine. We've got that background area lighter. Only thing left to do is just to darken the foreground a little bit, and then maybe warm the picture up. So I'm just going to pop it into, in fact, I'm going to change my feather first. Take the feather up to 140 or so. Select the inverse. Darken that area down there, like that. So we've got the darkened foreground down, and let's just warm the whole picture up. Again, I'm going to use curves because we can go into the red channel, pick the red channel up a little bit like that, and into the blue channel and knock the blue channel down, which has the effect of bringing the yellow up. So we've now just used curves to create a change in colour. So let's just see where we go back in history from there to there. Just cool to warm. It's only subtle, but really, really important. That's a lovely picture. Let's take a look at where it was when we came out of Lightroom, and now look at where we are now from there to there, transformed. Let's take a look at this picture. Okay, here we have the three girls here. What we want to do is make their hair come alive a little bit more, put some life into it. And the way to do that is to select it. I'm going to choose a feather of about 60 pixels here. Just dive into here like this. Okay, that'll be fine there. Hold down the Shift key, and I can dive in and select this hair here, and then into here as well. Let's take the contrast up. It will take the saturation up as well, which we might not want because we've got quite a bit of fringing and colour. But for the moment, let's just put the contrast up and just get some more life into it so it's looking a bit more silky and a bit shiny. Look at that. There we go. I think that's fine. There it was before and after. Perfect. Let's take the saturation down a little bit because by taking the contrast up, we've also taken the saturation up. But we really want to make sure we get the greens, any greens that are fringing areas, and just pull that down a little bit more, perhaps, than the other colours. So now we go to the master, take the master down a little bit. That's fine there. Good. Now we just want to dive in and tidy this area here and maybe this area here. Those are the two that sort of spring to mind. There's a little bit here as well. So we'll treat that as three separate areas. And let's just go in. Smaller feather, probably about 20 pixels, 25 pixels, and just deal with that spot colour issue there, okay? If we want to, we could use the same settings for all three by making those selections. Let's see what happens, let's do it. Let's hold down the Shift key, let's take that area there as well, and this area, just this side here. You're going to get that. The sunlight is landing on the grass outside, and so you've got this shaft of green, yellowy green light coming up off the sun and hitting the girls there. And we can probably get rid of all those little elements now. It's not a big problem, but just because we can do it, it's worth doing. Image adjust, hue saturation. Let's come in and find out where that hue is. We can use the eyedropper to find out. What I'm going to do here though is just go in and use the settings here. So I think that's yellows, and I think we need to pull that down. Do you see? Just a little bit like that. Let's take the colour of the yellow across slightly into the reds, and job done. That's it. Okay? And you'll notice it's worked for all of them, all at once. One simple solution with the hue saturation. The rest of the picture is absolutely fine. Now, that leaves me with two more pictures. Now, these pictures are the ones that were taken on infrared camera. The infrared camera I've got is a Canon 10D, and it's been converted in the UK for infrared use. So let's take a look at what I've got. Now, this picture here, we want to make sure that we reverse the colour of the sky. So instead of the sky being a red colour, reddy brown, we want it to be a blue colour. Now what I've done is I've written quite a complicated action, which I'm not going to sort of go through and describe to you because it's available free on my blog on prophotonut.com. So you can go on, log on, download the action yourself, and you can see all the steps that are within it. I've not locked the steps, they're all there. Let's take a look at it. It's here, and it's under my infrared action there. Let's run the action. It's going to go off and do lots of little bits and pieces, and I don't need to save it at the moment because I'm going to do some more work. But you see, what we've done is we've gone from here to here. So the sky has changed colours. It's all to do with swapping channels. Now, the thing is, it's still quite a flat picture and we want to put a bit more life into this. So I'm going to just go in and work on the file in different areas and see what comes up. So let's go into here. I'm going to take the pixel radius up a little bit more than that, and I'm going to just zoom in and let's have a look. Let's work on this part of the picture. Here like that. Image adjust curves. Again, looking for major changes to the feel and the look of the picture here. There's a possible hint of redness that's coming into the middle of the shot. We'll deal with that separately after. The picture can break up quite easily because it was only ever shot as a JPEG, and I'm really pulling it around. But the thing is, it's so dramatic that you don't really care. It just looks gorgeous. So we're going to go with it. We're going to see what we're going to do. Let's take a look at the leaves at the top here and adjust those. Let's bring the curves up on them and see what we can do here. Look at that, it just comes alive, doesn't it? I love the puffiness of the clouds in the background. The clouds in the background perhaps have gone a little cyan, but let's just give that a bit of a boost of colour as well and see if we can change the hue of that. So let's adjust the contrast there. So that will bring up the saturation. But we're going to go adjust the hue saturation and see if we can change that sort of cyan and change its hue to more to blue. So that's going green into there, a little bit into there. That's quite nice. I like that. That's fine. And now let's just take it on a master shift. A little bit there. That'll be fine. Great, good. So we've now got the top of the picture looking nice. I would just calm this area down. I need to be a little bit more careful with this hedge because it's looking quite peaky. So let's calm that down a little bit there. Great. I still think we need some more life in this area here. I've lifted it twice already, and let's see how we get on. Just give it another push. Sometimes pictures are worth a little bit more time than you originally sort of think, and this is one of those shots I quite like this way. I like the way it looks. It's an infrared shot. It's worth giving it a bit more of a push because the client's definitely going to have this one, I'm sure. Right, let's take some of that red out. The red cut is there because the lens I took the picture on has got a spheric front element, which means that it's not a perfect curve. It got a flat spot and down the other side. And that flat spot actually affects the picture when you're looking at the infrared spectrum. It doesn't affect the picture with the visible spectrum. The picture looks great, but with the infrared spectrum, it's a little bit dodgy. So it's a 16mm 16 to 35 f2.8 lens. It's a lovely lens, but I'm going to just go in here and tweak those reds. Let's have a little look at this. So that's fine. Just taking a bit of that out, take a bit of saturation out there. That's good. Excellent. Right, so let's take a look where we started. We started here and we've ended here. I think that's great. We'll keep that. Okay, let's take a look at the last picture. Again, it's infrared. Here it is here, and again we want to swap the colours using the action. Let's give it a go. Here we go. And it goes through all the different steps of swapping the channels and things, and we end up there. Now, one thing to note with this action is that it leaves lots of different layers in your file, okay, because we've got a colour swapped layer there, which you can see me toggling. We've got a soft light blur, which gives it a sort of a diffused look. Then there's a normal blur on top. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to remove those blur layers just so that we can see what's going on. And we've got a couple of grain layers as well. We can put the grain on after. So let's edit this picture without any of the additional layers apart from the colour swapped one there. Okay, so let's go in and actually look at the picture as a whole. We've got plenty of detail and there's lots of texture. We've got a general redness which we can shift, and the sky has got that sort of that mare's tails look which we want to increase the contrast, but I'd like to also make sure we can keep some of that lovely colour. So let's start with this area of the chapel. I'm going to go with about 100 pixel radius and just pick up this area here. And I'm just working on that layer, the colour swapped layer, do you notice? And let's have a little look at this. Fantastic. Just want to get rid of some of the red in this file here, and I'm going to do that by going to the red channel and just knock that back a little bit. Do you notice that? Just pull that back and that's fine. I can come back into the red, green and blue channel and just put a little bit more punch into it. Oops, I've just lost that point there. Something like that there, that's nice. Okay, so we've now got a nice feel there. If I go back in time in history, we brought the picture in like this, okay, and we've just taken it through to there. We're using the combination of the action and also a little curves tweak on one of the layers. Adjustment curves, we're going to bring this bit up as well, okay. We're going to start to make this picture really sing because I think it looks lovely. And it's a very unique picture. It's an individual piece of art that the bride and groom can have on their wall, and it's also taken during the ceremony. So it's got that extra little special element that's on their wedding day. Right, let's have a look up here and see what we can do. In fact, the best way to select the sky is to select everything else and then invert that selection. So let's do that. Let's select everything else and invert that selection. Okay, select inverse. And then let's bring the contrast up using curves, but let's give it a little blue boost as well. Why not? Okay. So let's go into the blue channel and punch the blue up. I don't want the highlights to go too blue, but I just want a little bit more blue in the sky. There we go. In fact, what I might do is take the highlights out, a blue out of the highlights to some extent, and up again in the shadows. And then pick up the cyan. Of course, cyan is opposite of red, so if I pull the red down, of course you get that little cyan flick into the top of the picture as well, just like that. Okay, now, so I quite like that. Again, let's just remind ourselves of where we were. We were here, and we're now here. And we're starting to put the lights on in the picture, that making the difference there. I think I'm still going to pick up some of those highlights and just knock out some of the colour in there. So I'm going to go hue saturation. Just in some of the highlights there, I think we've got a little bit too much cyan. Let's have a little look at that. Just there, you see. I think that's quite nice. Just pull that down a little bit. See that there, where we were, to there. It's just a bit calmer. That's fine. And I just want to have a look at this area because this was always a potential damaged area. I think we can just get rid of all the cyan in there, and I think that'll look fine. Okay. Sometimes it's worth spending a little bit extra time on a picture. If a client's going to buy a picture, then it makes sense to get that picture looking gorgeous. I think if it's a case of putting the effort in before they see the picture, you may well find that a client will choose to have a picture you've put the effort into, whereas if you hadn't put that effort in, they may not buy it. And so, to some extent, the amount of work you put in before the client sees the pictures will determine how much money you make from that project. Pretty straightforward. Here, I want to take the red out of this area here. So, go into the red channel and pull the red out. Do you see on that bell tower? Okay, before, there, after. That's it. Just drawing my eye, that's all. And I think this is perfect. I think we're there. That's a nice picture. Let's put the grain back on. Let's show you the grain layers so you can see what we've got. Let's go back into layers. Bit of grain, another bit of grain. It's subtle, okay? But you look up into the sky, and if I go in at 100%, you'll see it there, look. Do you see this grain and that wispiness? If I switch them off. See, somehow it looks soft without the grain. You pop the grain on, and it springs to life. Okay, that's something to bear in mind, that sometimes grain can add sharpness or apparent sharpness to an otherwise out of focus image. And it's something that people who print from film realise, that if you get the grain sharp on the baseboard, absolutely sharper than the print, it has a perception of being sharp even if the original image isn't quite there. So there you have it. That's an overview of how we at Lovegrove Weddings prepare our pictures for the client. Marco, our picture editor, will be taking these pictures to the next level, enhancing reality. And if you want to understand some of the advanced techniques that he uses, take a look at our website at lovegroveconsulting.com or take a look at our blog at prophotonut.com.